Coming up on San Diego News Fix, we'll introduce you to a retired chaplain colonel who was helping other combat veterans despite living with post-traumatic stress disorder. What happens when the person people turn to for healing needs healing himself?
Plus, a town in San Diego County is up for sale. We'll tell you where it is and how much it's going for.
Also, taking back Highland Avenue, how National City is embracing lowriders.
And motivation can sometimes come from unexpected places. Meet the local high school football coach who is spreading positive messages all over the world. Hi everyone, I'm Annie Heilbrunn.
And I'm Luis Cruz. Welcome to San Diego News Fix, where we'll bring you some of the San Diego Union-Tribune's headlines right to your television and video screens.
We begin with the story of a local retired Army chaplain colonel who continues to help other combat veterans despite suffering from PTSD.
San Diego Union-Tribune photojournalist Howard Lippin brings us his story.
My children, I couldn't leave them with a dad who killed himself. My spouse, I didn't want to hurt and wound her. My relationship with God that was real. I'm Chaplain Colonel Robert Blessing, U.S. Army. I have PTSD, and this is my story. I'm an Episcopal priest, served at a couple churches here in Diocese of San Diego, the San Diego area. Loved them, great people in these churches. And every time I deployed, I'd say goodbye to the church and come back from deployments and have to find a new church. My last church let me stay in there and continue serving after I returned from a deployment. I wasn't wanting to be a combatant, but I sure wanted to be with those who were serving our country. And for me, that's where my heart is, the care of those soldiers. And so I went for those two combat tours, and in that process, experienced the death, the dying, the loss of our soldiers and the injuries that were very traumatic in an environment of attacks by those that were trying to kill us. And as our guys were injured, as they were wounded, as they were killed, it had an effect on my soul and my spirit, as well as some physical impacts from concussions of explosions around me. It was a place of violence 4,000 years ago, and it still is today. Dirt in Iraq was ugly, messy, and it always seemed to be connected to the death we had. And I find here, this is live dirt. It grows things. Things come alive in it. That is refreshing. It's a wonderful thing. Now I can say that thoughts of death come once in a while, but they're pretty well, they're just thoughts, sort of in the genre of, it'd be nice if I were dead, but I'm not going to kill myself. That is a freedom that is really nice, and you can get there. You can get there as you find and look at the beauty around you. It may be a terrible memory, and that's why I try to sit in beauty. Plants, simple things, going on walks, seeing the beauty, and remembering the good things of my wife, my children, my friends. Reality is, it's only a perspective. And that, if that's the sermon I would give to any soldier or Marine out there, is get your life in perspective. Take the time. Don't be so urgent. Don't be so trying to fix things as you are to just be in what's around you. Observe what's good. The reason for the walks on a pilgrimage for me has been to observe the good things. And when the bad thoughts come, when the nightmares come, the triggers come, I can then see what's nice around me. And it helps. It's part of the journey. It's looking at the beauty, it's recognizing God's presence, it's meditating on good things, things of life, things of hope, not letting the shame or feeling of failure control you, not letting the humiliation of what is this disability direct you, or the thoughts of death. The only problem a chaplain has with old brothers in the military is that you were always there to be their rock, to be their brother, to stand with them as they cry, as they need somebody to listen to them. That change of roles is really difficult. I don't know who the soldiers are that could handle having their chaplain be one who needs them. But there are some, and I have found some brothers who can listen to me and be a source of strength, because they understand. I don't have to tell the stories. I know they get it. These fellow soldiers, they know what's in here. And that's the gift that fellow soldiers, Marines who've been to combat can offer to each other. I went on a retreat with a group of Marines and infantrymen who had experienced combat. And the thing they shared with me and shared in the group was how difficult it was upon returning to be able to share what's on their soul and what's with them and what they're struggling with. And it was hard for them to talk to their spouses, to their children, to their friends, because they didn't understand. We were now in a place that was almost alien to us. And the distance and the lack of ability to express and share what we wanted to made it difficult for us. So what we did was we expressed in a song called The 1,000-Pound Phone what it was like to not have anybody to talk to, and yet we did have some. And we had our brothers who we could talk to, and we were told to talk to them, to share with them about what was going on in our life, if we were alone, if we were thinking the dark thoughts, sort of the dark night of our souls.
It can feel like 1,000-pound phone. I want to lean on someone when I'm feeling all alone, but fear, pride, and guilt and burden has me hurting and scrolling for someone to save my soul on that 1,000-pound phone.
Only it was hard to do, but we did it. We'd pick up that phone, and it weighed. It seemed like it weighed 1,000 pounds just for us to be able to call for help. To have a brother we could put a shoulder around and walk with them. It was that hard to do, and that weight was hard. But once we called, I guess the weight left us. We opened up, and the weight could leave us because we could talk to somebody. And that was the gift of the 1,000-pound phone, but we had to pick it up before we could let it go.
Once again, if you're a combat veteran suffering from PTSD, you can reach out to Chaplain Colonel Robert Blessing at rbless1958@gmail.com.
And you can read more about his story from reporter John Wilkins by logging on to San Diego Union-Tribune.com. Coming up, we'll take a trip east where an entire town is up for sale. San Diego News Fix will continue right after this.
San Diegans accomplish great things every day. We care about our neighbors and our community. We are proud of our diversity. We are resilient. We hold our leaders accountable. We live in one of the most dynamic cities in America, the San Diego Union-Tribune. telling San Diego's story for more than 150 years.
Welcome back to San Diego News Fix. Well, have you ever wondered what it might be like to own your own town? Now you can.
San Diego Union-Tribune real estate and business reporter Philip Molnar shows us the town that's up for sale, and it's here in San Diego County.
The small rural town of Campo is up for sale. It's pretty secluded, about an hour and a half from downtown San Diego. But the sale includes 28 residences and 7 commercial properties, all spread out around 16 acres. Now, it's not your traditional ghost town. There's still around 100 people living in this downtown area that's up for sale. The owner has been a Las Vegas investor since the early 2000s, but according to the listing agent, Connor Brennan, he wants to get rid of some of his older properties.
You have developers looking at this space, you have rehabbers looking at this space. As you can tell, if you're looking around me, this used to be a military town, and these are all Army barracks, and they were converted after the war, so now these are used as apartments for a lot of the locals here. So it could really be anybody. Even we have movie producers looking at it for using the town as a setting for their movies. So, I mean, it's really anybody and everybody, somebody who wants to be a mayor of their own town.
This sale includes a VFW hall, this Baptist church, this post office, which actually rents the space, this lumber and hardware shop, land leased to the Border Patrol, and a few abandoned buildings. We talked to one local who said whoever buys this town, she hopes they keep it the same feel as it's always been.
Yeah, she's got. Well, I hope that the buyer takes into consideration what our town really means to the people here, that they don't go overboard and really produce something that's going to really impact our town with a lot of traffic and all. Our highways cannot handle it, and any more people, our schools can't really handle that.
We even talked to the owner of this lumber yard, who hopes the shop gets to stay and be a big part of the town, even though the sale includes this property.
The building's not mine. I wouldn't mind owning it, but he wants a lot of money for it. It needs to be fixed on the outside, but I'd like to keep it basically the same. I mean, a lot of people love the old wood floors. I like it. It's an old building. A lot of people have, the store has the feel of an old-time hardware store. Every time somebody comes in, or new people, they love the place. We haven't heard anything, so I don't know what the future is. I do have a lease here. Hopefully we can work with the new people and keep it going.
For the San Diego Union-Tribune, I'm Philip Molnar.
Well, according to the listing agent, you can buy the town of Campo for $5.5 to $6 million.
And you can read more about Philip Molnar's story by logging on to SanDiegoUnionTribune.com. Coming up, National City embraces lowriders more than 25 years after the city banned cruising. San Diego News Fix will be right back.
More than 25 years after National City banned cruising, the pastime returned to the South Bay, this time as part of an inaugural car show earlier this year.
San Diego Union-Tribune reporter David Hernandez and video director Alejandro Tamayo show us the sights and sounds.
lowriding is not about who has the best car. It's a brotherhood, it's a family, you know. Everybody sacrifices to enjoy their ride and their family and to show their sons and their daughters, this is where I come from, this is what I love, and this is what it's about.
The year was 1992. Weekends in National City were marked by a flood of lowriders that flocked to Highland Avenue, but concerns about traffic and crime led the city to ban the popular pastime.
When they hear the word lowrider, it reminds them of why they made the law, you know, to stop the traffic, you know. They in this community, they stigmatize lowriding with gangs and all the bad.
Despite National City's ban, Casas and the San Diego Lowrider Association took the idea of a lowrider car show to the city council. The approval came at a time when National City in many ways is more representative of its community than ever.
Well, being the first Latina mayor, really recognizing that at the end of the day, we want to look at policies that help empower and engage our community. And working side by side with our law enforcement, we don't want it to go back to where we had people from outside of National City causing trouble, but recognizing the art and then the culture and the convivir, the coming together, the fellowship that lowrider culture brings.
Today we're having its first annual ever San Diego Lowrider Association car show, alcohol-free, friendly event. A bunch of lowriders to share our heritage, our culture, our passion, our generations being passed down from one to another.
My name is Franchesco Zambrano. I have a 1985 Oldsmobile Cutlass. It's got it as a project, not running. I did it in over about a year. I'm from Rollers Only San Diego chapter, and you know, the whole club helped me to build it. So I'm pretty excited about, you know, cruising for the first official time again in over, you know, 20 years.
Ana Sanchez, and this is my 1951 Plymouth, and her name is Bonita. So before I used to cruise Highland, but I didn't have a car. So now that I have one, it means a lot to me to be able to cruise down Highland after 20-something years.
And this is a 1960 El Camino. Paint job is a root beer brown with gold metallic.
My name is Mary Lopez. I have a 1979 Monte Carlo. It's called Mary's Monte.
So for us to be able to have an event to be put on, it's historical. It's the first one ever. I'm glad and I'm proud to be a part of it.
I think this is going to be the first of many, and I think it's apparent. It came off flawlessly. A lot of planning. It was over a year of planning went into this thing to make it happen, and we've been trying for years and years to make this thing happen. But it happened. My only criticism of it, I've only got one criticism. We're calling it a lowrider car show. I'm sorry. It ought to be a lowrider art show, because these vehicles are a piece of art, and they need to be appreciated for that.
We're now looking to the future with new leadership and new familial ties, saying we're going to be successful, we're going to be positive, and this is about, you know, promoting who we are intrinsically, but letting our community know we're here and we're here to stay.
Those were some cool rides. Takes me back to my days, Annie.
Yeah, you and a whole lot of other people watching, I'm sure, right, Louise? Well, you can read more stories from David Hernandez by logging on to San Diego Union-Tribune.com. Still ahead, a local high school football coach is using social media to not only push his team, but to motivate people all over the world. Meet Coach Kurt Hines when San Diego News Fix returns.
San Diegans accomplish great things every day. We care about our neighbors and our community. We are proud of our diversity. We are resilient. We hold our leaders accountable. We live in one of the most dynamic cities in America, the San Diego Union-Tribune, telling San Diego's story for more than 150 years. Coronado High School head football coach Kurt Hines is well known for his motivational messages to his players. And Annie, you got a chance to meet him.
That's right, Luis. I went down to Coronado High School to meet with Hines and his players. And let's just say that motivation is an understatement. Take a look. At Coronado High School, players, students, and teachers have grown accustomed to hearing motivational messages from head football coach Kurt Hines every day.
Good job! Good job!
And now, thanks to social media, the rest of the world is listening too.
Usually, if you're being slept on, it's because you haven't woken up yet to realize what you need to do to get yourself out there.
The greatest people I've ever known, the greatest that ever walked the earth, know how to cast their life story. If they have a goal, they have a mission, they surround themselves with people that are like-minded.
We all make the mistake of thinking about what's next and in the moment of certain things, not being in the moment. Let's all slow down a little bit, be where our feet are, and realize the blessing and beauty in doing just that.
An elementary school teacher for 25 years, Hines has coached high school football for 22 of those, and he's been head coach of the Islanders for 3 seasons now. He began sharing his messages on Twitter about 2 years ago.
My wife was the one that pushed me to get onto Twitter, of all things, and one day I just put out a video there, and it seemed to resonate with a good number of people and kind of spread.
At the time, he had less than 2,000 followers. Now he's got 40,000 and counting, built organically by those wanting motivation and positivity in their timeline. His videos are viewed by thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of people. But it's not about the clicks, the views, or the likes. It's about connecting with others and empowering them to change their lives.
I'm a firm believer that we are in charge of our own lives. You know, it's not so much what happens to us, but how we respond to it, you know, our reaction to things. Very few of us are going through anything alone, whether it's depression, anxiety, whatever it is. There are different things that we have to realize we're not alone and there are people out there to help us.
Many of Hines's videos are based upon situations he sees on the football field that he extrapolates into bigger life lessons.
More often than not, football and all of life, the game of inches that really matter the most are the 6 or 7 inches between your ears.
Coach Hines inspires us as much as anybody I've ever been around. Him on social media, I'm sure he affects people, but we get to see him every day. Like, we get his message like all the time, 24/7. It's like implanted into our brains, kind of.
Yeah, I follow him on Instagram, and it's just crazy to see how many people follow him from schools all over the country, and just the fact that like he's our coach. Because on Instagram, I mean, he's like a celebrity pretty much for high school coaches. I think most people at our school, even the people that don't play football, find him to be inspirational just because his message, his videos that he posts, they have an impact on everyone. He's just a good guy, and like what you see in like the videos, he's not really like acting for anyone. That's just who he is.
Been talking to a lot of players lately that are battling depression or have loved ones that are battling depression. And one common theme is it just seems like everyone that's battling depression feels like they're alone and that there's something wrong with them. They should just be able to snap out of it. That's ridiculous. I think it's a blessing for all the platforms, teaching and coaching, to be in a position to empower people. And that's my greatest, I think, calling and passion. And the platform of football allows me to have a captive audience and just help, you know, not only try to win games, but change lives.
Recently, like, my dad passed away, and Coach Hines has almost been like a second father to me, I'd say, and just taking me under his wing and treating me like one of his own. It's like a blessing for me because it's somebody who like shows me how to be a good man, but then also be a good football player.
Those messages have made an impact, not just with the players on the football field, but with people from all walks of life, including the ones he's never met.
Yeah, it's been crazy, honestly, worldwide, which does not sound arrogant, but people across the United States, I've been asked to speak in Hawaii this coming summer, and I've spoken to Mississippi and places that, with people I would have never connected with. It struck a chord with them personally or professionally. I know for a fact there are a lot of coaching staffs throughout the country that share the same message, and I just want more people to put the message out there and not care how many people like it or retweet it or share it, but realize that you're sharing positivity, and we all know there's enough negativity in the world.
In the words of Coach Hines,
take what's worth, stay strong.
And you can find Hines delivering those messages of positivity on Twitter and Instagram by following Coach Kurt Hines.
And speaking of social media, don't forget to follow the San Diego Union-Tribune on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
And you can see more of my videos on our website, SanDiegoUnionTribune.com, and on our San Diego Union-Tribune YouTube page. San Diego News Fix will be right back.
San Diegans accomplish great things every day. We care about our neighbors and our community. We are proud of our diversity. We are resilient. We hold our leaders accountable. We live in one of the most dynamic cities in America, the San Diego Union-Tribune, telling San Diego's story for more than 150 years.
Welcome back. Well, San Diego Union-Tribune graphics reporter and illustrator Michelle Guerrero shows us how to draw a face.
Because why not? It's part of a feature we call How To.
Hi, my name is Michelle Guerrero. My friends here at the UT call me Mickey, and I am a graphics reporter and illustrator here at the San Diego Union-Tribune. Today, I will be teaching you how to draw a face. People want to learn how to draw a face because it's something that we see every day. We recognize each other with facial features. Most people need some help with learning how to break it down into shapes or proportions. So when I draw a face, I start off with a vertical line, split that line into threes, and this bottom half I split into thirds, and then from there make a jawline. So this middle line here I use for eyes. Eyebrows. Nose. And then mouth. The corners of the mouth line up with the center of the eyes. So, not here. And the space in between the eyes is about another eye. So using the measurement of 1, 2, 3. Your ears typically start at the center of the eyes, then come out. Same on both sides. And then the neck isn't too far off from that center of the eye, it's about the corner. And for hairlines, I like to start off with like an M that's been widened. And come back down. And then the shoulder, collarbone. And that's for a front profile view. For this tutorial, I used a pen, but you can use a pencil and an eraser or whatever you're comfortable with. This has been Mickey with the San Diego Union-Tribune.
Thank you, Mickey. And if there's something you'd like to know about our jobs, email me at luis@sduniontribune.com, and we may feature it on the show.
That's right, and that does it for this video edition of San Diego News Fix.
You can listen to the San Diego News Fix podcast hosted by our colleague Daniel Wheaton. Each weekday evening, Daniel and our reporters discuss the biggest story of the day.
San Diego News Fix can be found wherever you get your podcasts and can be accessed through smart speakers like Alexa and Google Home. Thanks so much for watching.
We'll see you next time.